Workman rescued from muddy trap. Former Nelson Corporation workman 23-year-old Mr. Donald J., one of 3 men who almost drowned in thick mud on Friday, brushed off his frightening experience as just one of those things. This week, Mr. J of St. Mary's Street, Nelson, had been working for Burnley Corporation's Highways Department for only 2 months when on Friday he became trapped up to his chest in thick mud in a culvert at Padiham. Along with 2 other workmen, Mr. Mike Murrell 24 of Woodlands Grove, Darwin, and Mr. Alan Cox 18 of Ulster Street, Burnley. He was stuck for about an hour and a half before being freed by firemen. Mr. J and his colleagues, suffering from shock and unable to stand, were taken to Burnley Victoria Hospital but were allowed home after treatment. This week Mr. J, a former pupil of Whitefield Secondary School, Nelson, was still feeling a bit sore after his ordeal. He told us, "We all had terrible cramps stuck in the culvert. Mike had gone in first, we waded in and he got stuck. I went to help him and I got stuck as well. We shouted for Alan to get a ladder to get us out, but it did not work. It was a very strange experience sinking slowly into all that mud and not being able to move," he added. This drama happened as the men were just about to carry out a clean-up of the culvert behind Padiham's school clinic, off Station Road. Firemen had to roll out 35 feet of ladder on the mud and it took 6 of them to free the trapped workmen. Mr. J worked for Nelson Corporation's Cleansing and Highways departments for 5.5 years before moving to Burnley. Lancashire Evening Telegraph 1973. It was a typical rainy Friday in Padiham, England, when 23-year-old Donald J and his colleagues Mike Murrell and Alan Cox set out to clean a culvert behind the local school clinic. The 3 men, all employees of Burnley Corporation's Highways Department, had only been on the job for a few months and were eager to get the task completed. As they waded through the muddy water in the culvert, disaster struck. Mike, who had gone in first, became trapped up to his chest in the thick mud. Donald and Alan rushed to help him, but they too became stuck. The men shouted for help, but nobody could hear them over the pouring rain. They were stuck in the culvert for over an hour, unable to move as they slowly sank deeper into the mud. Just when they thought all hope was lost, they heard the sound of sirens approaching. Firefighters arrived on the scene and quickly set to work, rolling out a 35-foot ladder and using it to pull the men to safety. It took 6 firefighters to free the trapped workmen, who were suffering from shock and unable to stand on their own. Donald, Mike, and Alan were taken to the Burnley Victoria Hospital for treatment, but were released to go home later that day. Despite the harrowing experience, Donald brushed it off as just one of those things and returned to work the following week, still feeling a bit sore from the ordeal.